She doesn't even go here.
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Hummel, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hello!
Welcome to Not So Straight Nerds. I'm your sensei, Alicia.
And I am your other sensei, Luke.
You did it with the right hand. Good job. Good job.
I took notes.
Yeah, exactly. They made sure we know. We knew. Whatever. Anyways, let's get right into it.
I want to do the intro she said.
Yeah.
She's killing it.
I'm doing great, guys. I'm very excited to talk about this movie. We have a lot of good thoughts.
What movie?
We're talking about Credit Legends. If you haven't guessed by the sensei.
Guys,
we're doing great.
She is killing
this
intro.
Okay. My brain has not started yet. It's going to start. It's going to flow. And then we're going to film another video, and it's going to be much better. I think.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, we're here to talk about Karate Kid Legends. Hello, Roxy. Anyways, so... how's the vibe?
So, we have prepared for this movie by watching the prior Karate
Right.
Kid movies.
Right.
Personally, I have not watched any of them before.
Which is crazy.
And I know... How many did you watch before we started?
I can confidently say I've definitely seen the original. I've seen the 2010 remake.
Okay.
I don't remember the second or the third one. Maybe they were on a TV in the background growing up. I don't know. But she just kicked all her toys. That's so funny.
That's crazy. But...
Anyways, my cat's going crazy. I gave her catnip yesterday, and she's going wild. Anyway, I don't even know where the other toy went. It's fine. So... I've only seen the first one and the remake. And then I've seen all of Cobra Kai.
Yes, which
So-
I have seen only the first episode.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get him to watch it, but we have a lot to watch right now. We have the second season of Summer I Turned Pretty, and then The Pit, and then The Studio. So, like, it's going to be a minute.
There's a
Okay,
lot
it's going to
going
be a
on.
hot minute. But,
And I will say, fortunately, this movie did not super require it. I feel like I
Don't
watched
need it.
like just the first episode,
mhm.
and I still kind of got what it wanted me to get from watching all of Cobra Kai.
well, there's only one small thing towards the end. And I mean, like, you don't really need to watch the show. It would have more of an emotional impact, as you
Clearly.
saw with me.
Clearly.
I was freaking out. I had 3 cups of coffee like the day we saw the movie, and they all decided to kick in at that moment. It was crazy. Anyways, we'll talk about it when we get to the spoiler section. But what are the vibes?
The vibes? I am kind of really tired.
Really?
Yeah, we stayed up a little late because I watched a movie that I should have watched forever ago.
Titanic.
Yeah, but I finally watched it, and I've like, in my house, I've always seen like the last 30 minutes of that movie.
Yeah.
But I've never like sat through the beginning.
That was me with like the last 30 minutes of Crazy Rich Asians, and then I finally watched it, and it's great.
Mhm.
But yeah, my dad loves that movie, and so he used to watch it, but then for whatever reason, it's just always worked out. It was like the last 30 minutes, and I'm like, okay, well, I know how it's going to end, so I guess I better watch it. So anyways, yeah, we finally got around to it, but we started at like 10 o'clock, which was our mistake. So,
What you gonna do?
but it was fun.
Yeah,
it was a good
so,
time.
but needless to say, when I woke up at a decent hour today, I'm still tired.
Yeah. I woke up when I woke up. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, but I am ready to talk about this movie.
Yeah, me too.
I will say I went in with kind of some reservations,
Me too.
and then the movie happened, and it was one of the most fun in theaters experiences I think I've had all year.
Me too.
And man, I
Yeah.
love this movie.
I was thinking about it today where it reminds me of Sinners, which is kind of a bad comparison because Sinners was different in a way where you were so happy to be there because it was so well made, and you could appreciate the acting, the cinematography, the sound, everything that was happening. You were like, this is such a great movie. This is going to go down in history. This is more just like, I had such a fun time. The theater had such a fun time. Everybody was laughing, when they wanted us to laugh. And I don't know. It was just a fun time. It was a really cool karate movie. It was fun outside of that. I thought for like the first 45 minutes, I was like, we haven't seen much karate, but like, I'm having a good time. So, and it got there eventually. So, I don't know. I just had a great time. It had a great soundtrack. I don't want to get too much into the pros yet, but yeah, it was a very fun theater experience.
It truly was a vibe.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah.
Get right into it, I guess.
Yeah, let's go right in. Unfortunately, I was fake and didn't write my pros and cons list.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, Alicia made hers and put my one con on the list.
Yeah.
So if you want to start us off, I'll just kind of jump off of yours.
Sure. First of all, I had a great time with the cast in this movie. I thought they were all having a great time, and I think they all served their purpose well. I don't feel like there was a weak link or even within that a standout. Like I felt like they all did a very solid job, and I'm excited to see their older projects I haven't seen, and I'm excited to see some stuff they're going to be in the future. So yeah, I thought that was really great for them. I thought I was having a fun time. The Karate Kids, there's a bunch of like tropes that they always do. There's a bunch of they have to do it because it's a karate movie or whatever, or Karate Kid movie specifically. But I feel like you always have your kid who's going to be the Karate Kid. You always have their mom, and I loved the mom in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
She was like my favorite mom out of all the ones.
Played by Ming Na Wen.
Yeah, the voice of Mulan, Agent May. Gosh, I love her. Yeah, she's such a baddie, and she's a baddie in this movie. So, if anything, she should have been used more. But she didn't. I don't know. I feel like she was there when she needed to be.
Yeah.
So, but then you have. I'm blanking on everybody else. Oh, you have like the bully. I thought he did a good job. You were saying that he had like a lot of aura, and I totally agree.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I think I've heard someone describe it as like the bully role in these kind of movies can always be like a thankless role.
Yeah.
But I think for whatever reason it like worked. I would say more than most bully roles do in other movies.
I agree.
In this regard, because like he truly was. Like, he was an asshole.
Yeah.
He's also a badass.
Yeah.
And it's the first time where, like, I think, especially even in these Karate Kid movies, where it's like, oh, cool. So this is actually a kid who can, like, even if you are good at karate, like, he can still...
He's a big threat.
...completely take you out.
And they have stuff like that in Cobra Kai, and I think that's really cool because, I don't want to give too much away, but, like, at some point in the show, they go way beyond stuff like the All Valley, what's the word? Local stuff. They go beyond that. And you find these people that are, like, abused into being good at karate. That's how, like, intense it is. So, and I think that's fascinating because you see, like, it's not just like a Johnny Lawrence has a mean teacher and Daniel LaRusso has a kind teacher. It's not just that. It's like much more nuanced, so many more layers than that. And I think that's great, not to diss the original because I love the original. But I think that's fun that they do that in Cobra Kai and they do that here. They really give them layers of like, this is not just a bad guy. It's like you see him training, you see what he goes through, you see like 24/7 kind of training, and that's a real threat. And you see he's really good at fighting. You see someone like Lee who, has, I guess, probably I can assume, grown up to learn how to fight. And he gets, like, beat up in, like, 2 seconds in the first fight. So it's like, oh, yeah, this is going to take some work. So, I don't know. I think that's really fascinating.
Yeah,
Makes it a real threat.
I also really like the opposing dojo.
Yeah.
They're an element of this movie, but it's not playing the same element it has in every other Karate Kid movie.
Yeah.
I like that this movie is just really, like, unique within the franchise, which
Yeah.
I absolutely love.
Me too. I agree, because that was my biggest complaint about the 2010 remake, is it was a great film when it was, confident in being its own thing, and I felt it suffered when it had, lines ripped straight out of the original, clearly meant to, like,
absolutely
invoke some kind of, like, nostalgia dopamine hit or whatever. And I just thought that was like really cheap and really lame, and it wasn't necessary for that film. And so I'm glad this one didn't really seem to do that. I mean, it had, you know, your similar tropes and stuff,
it
but
had callbacks and like references to the original, which is, you know, it's legend, so it's supposed to be referencing, and it has characters that are supposed to, you know, draw those connections and things from the original roles into this, which I think they do really well.
Yeah.
But it isn't trying to be those movies, which I think can't be said for, you know, every other Karate Kid minus the first.
Yeah, I agree. So I appreciate that it was trying to be its own thing. I've seen people complain that the legend characters are not in it a lot, but I feel like both of us kind of came out of it thinking, I thought they were in there for the perfect amount of time. I wouldn't have wanted them more, and I wouldn't have wanted them less. I feel like they served their purpose, and they were there when they needed to be. So
yeah, and that's kind of the presumption I had going into the movie, because for the couple days before, with the releases and the press releases and all of that, like apparently it's a very polarizing. Yes. I've heard that some people just it's not their thing, and you know, and I did hear exactly that you know, the characters that are from the other movies are hardly in it. That being said, I feel like Han is in it more than I expected, considering that's the note. Yeah, because he's definitely throughout the entire film. Yeah, I think with totally Danielson. Yeah, I think he's in it the least, maybe out of all of the characters, minus Alan. Yeah, Alan. So you know, I think it's a thing where people want to come and see, oh, I remember the Karate Kid movie, it's this movie. Yeah. And then it's not exactly what they imagine it to be. Yeah. And, you know, for us, I remember within, like, the first, like, 15 minutes of the movie, I was like, I already love, what was his name? Li Fong? I already love him. Protect him at all costs. His mom is an icon. And it's, like, I don't know. I was so immediately enraptured by these actors and what they were doing with their characters that, like, you know, I knew that these other characters were coming eventually. Yeah. But I wasn't in any rush to see them either, because they were doing something unique in this franchise. So I think it reminds me a lot of the Ghostbusters franchise. And I told you about this last night, where, because I am a huge Ghostbusters fan. And I love the original. It's, as far as movies, it's maybe one of the most influential movies on my childhood. Yeah. They're pretty good. Because I absolutely love Ghosts. I love monsters. I was a Scooby-Doo kid. So this was like the next, like, oh, I'm like old enough to start watching older movies. Yeah. Boom, this is the movie to watch for a kid. Yes, exactly. And I love the original classic. And then I also really liked the second Ghostbusters, which you said you haven't seen, right?
If I have, it's been too long to remember, so I need to rewatch it.
Oh my god, I would so rewatch that with you. Yeah. But that one, and I loved it as a kid, and then when I started getting into movies when I was older, I looked at it, and apparently it was really poorly received. And then they do the reboot in 2021, and people are all over that again. And then, like, 3 years later, they do the sequel to that, and it's, you know, not about Gozer like the first and third one are. Yeah. And suddenly people are like, oh, I'm not interested in this again. And I'm like, there is so much more to, like, Paranormal Activity and what you can do with Ghostbusters that don't involve Gozer, the main antagonist of the first movie. And it feels like it's really similar to this vein, where if you don't have all of these things from the first movie, people are presuming there's no value in it for whatever reason. Yeah, and I think that's such a shame. It's like, because you're missing out on a great film. If you wanted to watch a movie about this whole arc about Daniel, watch the first 3 movies. Yeah. You want to watch Han? Watch the Karate Kid 2010. And that's the thing. So, you can still watch this movie. Yeah, and he's still in it a lot. I would say he was better in this movie than he was in the 2010 movie. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like he had more of an arc in the first movie. Sure. But then, you know, he kind of seemed to heal from that, and I think this is the aftermath of that. I think he was very fun in this movie.
it's not like he didn't have one of those emotional like crying scenes like he did in the 2010. But I don't know. I feel like he was very fun here. He was almost giving like not Miyagi, but like I don't know. Almost like a combination of maybe Miyagi and Daniel.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Like more energetic
Absolutely.
and fun, but also still like set in his
Wise in
ways.
his years.
Like, yeah. He's like, gotta do it this way.
No, I absolutely agree. He's a really fun energy here.
Yeah.
And I also I don't know. I like how similar yet opposing him and Daniel are when they're both his senseis. I think it's super fun.
Yeah. I think that is fun. And that's not a spoiler because it was in the trailer that they're
Yes.
both helping Lee.
And we were talking about cast. I want to kind of look at some of the other people that did really good. Jackie Chan as Mr. Han. Personally, I think he's as great as I've ever seen him.
Yeah. I think he's great.
I think him in the 2010 reboot for me is whenever he's not going through that huge emotional arc of his family, he's a little boring to me.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. A lot of that didn't work because also it felt like a lot of it is him trying to, like, just be a different Mr. Miyagi. And here, here he doesn't feel like he's trying to be Miyagi because he's not Miyagi. He's very unique, and it feels like Jackie Chan has found a way to make this character, like, his own thing. And I really love that he found that.
Yeah, I agree.
Ben Wang, cannot say enough great stuff about that actor. He absolutely kills it. I said as soon as we walked out, like, man, I am so happy that he's already booked and busy because this kid, like, people, especially making action movies, need to get this kid.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, get his number.
Well, I want to mention the couple movies he's gonna be in the couple years, but then I also was gonna have you talk about the character you want him to play one day because I think it's a really good fan cast. So he was in American Born Chinese, which is I think like a movie or something, documentary, something like that.
It's a Disney Plus show.
Oh, show. Okay, that's fun. It's been on my list since it came out, and I just haven't watched it. And I regret that now because I'm like, man, I could have been like enjoying this actor for years.
And it's directed by Destin Daniel Cretton.
Yeah. So I really need to see it, and it's definitely moving up my list now.
My understanding of that show is that it's supposed to be like this kid who I believe moves to America, and then he starts like seeing like kind of like I believe it's Chinese like gods like talking to him about his heritage and kind of stuff like that.
Okay.
And you have Ke Huy Quan, you have
Michelle Yeoh.
I forgot her name, but Mother. So some amazing talent there. So
yeah,
I definitely think it's gonna be worth a watch for us at some point.
I agree. And then so he's already been in that. You can already watch that on Disney Plus. Other next year, he's going to be in the new Hunger Games movie, Sunrise on the Reaping. He is Wyatt, the other District 12 male tribute, other than Haymitch. So, I'm very excited for him in that movie. I am wondering, because it is a very different personality than when he played in this movie. I would say, from what I read it, in my interpretation, because I have read the book, nowhere near as, like, charming, but he's not supposed to be. He's supposed to be, like, he's a very, like, more serious guy. He's almost like an asshole. Like, he kind of is an asshole sometimes. He is good at heart when it matters, but he is kind of like, well, you shouldn't do that strategy in the game because my calculations, He does a lot of calculations in the book. Say you're going to die if you do that. Oh, no, that's also a bad idea. Or, like, like, it messes with people. I feel like I can
actually so see him in that kind of role.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
I think he can even, like, kind of improve it.
Yeah.
A little more than I think most actors can. Just
I
in
agree.
the way that he, like, gives his, like, sass and his quips in this movie.
Yes.
I can, like, so see him being able to put his stamp on that kind of character.
Yes. So, I will say he's not in it as much as I would have liked him to be. It's not a spoiler to say that his character dies because obviously Haymitch wins. Sorry, guys, if you didn't know that. Haymitch wins. Right, everybody else dies, so sorry. But he's in it a decent amount. I just think he's such a great actor. I'm like, oh, maybe they'll like give him a bigger role. Maybe.
Who knows?
Probably not, but maybe. Anyways, I'm just excited regardless. So, and he's gonna kill that, and it's gonna be really sad, and I'm just excited. And then he's also, I don't know, is this coming out this year or next year?
Yes, it's this year.
A
Long
movie
Walk.
called The Long Walk. So you should look up that trailer if you haven't, because it's really, I'm talking to y'all audience. We've both seen it. It's great. It looks very interesting. It has a good cast. It has several people that we know and recognize, especially now we have one more.
Yeah.
So
I'm very interested in it. It's a Stephen King adaptation for those who don't know.
yeah,
And essentially,
which those are very hit or miss. But
indeed. But essentially, it's a contest that these boys sign up for, and it's essentially you're walking nonstop, and if you stop walking, you die. You get shot,
Yeah.
and whoever's the last one walking gets a lot of money.
yeah,
So for me, I think it's going to be really interesting to see why people get into that competition.
I mean, it could be something like Squid Game, just pure desperation.
Maybe, but I don't
I wonder
know.
if they'll
One
have
of
the commentary like Squid Games does, though.
Maybe. One of my hot takes.
Okay.
And I absolutely love Squid Game.
Okay.
For me, one of the weakest parts is whenever everyone's outside of the games.
Oh yeah. My
Like-
uncle's been watching it, and he's saying the same thing. He's
Like-
like, "This is kind of boring," and I'm like, "Just get to the games."
Well,
like,
but it's
gonna be
I
fine.
don't know. I don't even know if it's necessarily boring, but it feels much poorly done
okay.
than like when the characters are in the game and like it's an enclosed environment where it's like, you know, things can be a little bit suspended from reality because
Yeah.
this is so abnormal. Whereas and then you're in this like real world and it feels like, is this how people act? I don't know. For me, if there's just a huge disconnect there, and I feel like the why people go in there, other than like they need money.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's why.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's one of the weaker points, I would say, of season 1. I haven't seen season 2 yet, so I can't speak on that yet. I do plan on catching up
Yeah,
before
season 3
drops.
comes
And I've
out.
heard season 2 is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to watch that. It's just a matter of when I get around to it. But
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm excited because, you know, whether or not they do commentary, I'm just excited because I feel like this has to be a character-led or character-driven movie. And I love those kind of movies if they're done well, obviously. But it has a great cast, and so I'm pretty confident that I'm going to love the characters. It's kind of like Warfare in that vein where you're just like so ingrained because you have a connection to these characters. I feel like, I don't know. That's like a mild comparison. But I'm just excited. I like the cast. I'm excited for him. So
sure. Anything else to say on Ben Wang before we go to another actor?
I don't think so. I think he did great. So
Yeah.
and then
Actually, maybe for now we'll leave it at that, and we'll go into the cast. Maybe we can get more into spoilers.
Okay.
Before we start going all the way down that cast list in our non-spoiler section.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, your next note, was hilarious.
It was. It got several laughs, especially out of me, but the whole like theater was laughing too. I heard people from like they were like in the second row for some reason. I don't know why they
That
would
was
choose those
bold
seats.
choice.
But they were laughing. I heard them all the way down there. I was like, okay, good for y'all. So it definitely got some laughs. People were having a good time. I think it helps when you have that theater experience of other people laughing. I think it honestly improves your watch of the movie. So I don't know. I just enjoyed that. I enjoy when a theater is like in it together.
Yeah.
And they're right there with you. So that was very fun. It was hilarious. It got several laughs out of me.
Yeah, I didn't think this movie would be like almost advertisable as a comedy.
Yeah.
But
I almost wish it was.
Like,
Mhm.
it truly is funny, but never at the expense of like what they're trying to do
No,
within the
no.
movie. And it's like the script is so strong, and
Yeah.
the actors just completely kill it.
Yeah.
Especially on their delivery. Ben Wong kills almost every line delivery. I think
agree.
Daniel
Daniel's always had
has-
that kind of like humor in his eyes.
He continues to have his like youthful charm.
Yes,
Even though
yeah.
he's not what he like. He's
Not
old.
18 anymore.
He very old and mature.
He's old, but he looks great, and has that youthful energy, and I think that helps. So
Also-
it's just very fun.
So Jackie Chan, as an actor, he has this like infamous like fighting style where it's also very like comedic and almost like silent film like Chaplin style like comedy fighting that like really like kind of set him apart from some other like action movies back in the day or action movie stars. And I think it's really interesting to see this movie kind of tie into that here and there, which is very fun. It's a very big part, clearly, of Mr. Han's fighting style.
Yes.
Which is...
And you can see that
Yes.
within Lee, for sure, that he's kind of learned that.
And it's fun seeing whenever Li Fong goes into that as well. There's one scene specifically with, like, the pans where you can see elements of that.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool to see... like a bunch of different types of fighting styles used here, and there's a good handful.
Oh yeah, I think it's really fun that, not to bring up Cobra Kai again, I will use any chance to bring up Cobra Kai. They talk about a lot about like different fighting styles, but it's still karate. I really liked in this movie how they use karate and kung fu. They like and boxing.
I also really liked bringing that in. I think it's almost
Yeah.
interesting. It goes kung fu, boxing, then karate. And
Yeah.
it's all very interesting, and I
And
really
it
like
works
the way
really
they utilize
well.
it all. Yeah.
Yeah. And he uses it all. He uses all the techniques, and I think that's very fascinating.
Yeah, and then I super love all of the different mentors he has.
Yeah.
Another
He has a lot,
thing,
and he mentors.
Yeah.
So, I
another
think
thing
that's
I
cool.
really like about this movie that I think, and I love the original.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely just not in the movie. I think it's not losing anything for not being in that movie, but I think it's so special in this movie. The idea of like building community where you go.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sucker for a find your community
Yeah.
like movies. Love that theme. But it's really cool seeing him like find the people that care about him and then,
Yeah.
like learning from them and kind of like weaving this community together. And
Yeah.
I think that's, especially considering all of these movies are about going to a place you don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of, until this movie, it's been like find your sensei, find your love interest for the movie.
Maybe
You're
find
good.
a best friend if we remember they exist.
Oh, not even that. Like the closest you get is in
Well, like,
2010.
Yeah,
but,
2010, but then you
he's-
forget.
that one
he's there.
character's in like 3 scenes in
Yeah.
like a 2-hour movie, and that's
Yeah.
crazy.
In this movie, there's like 2 senseis, the love interest and her father. He has a best friend / tutor, and his mom is still used pretty well. Like, and then they interact with like some other minor characters. So it's just, I don't know. I think that's fascinating, and they do it really well. And this movie is not long, guys. It's an hour and a half, and they do it really well. They use their time really well, in my opinion. So.
Absolutely. There's also a really cool element they added here that the others don't have, where it's almost like a unique selling point for, like a new character point for the Karate Kid, where there's like a reason for him not to fight.
Yeah.
And the way that they kind of use that throughout the movie, I almost really like the way they like hint at it towards the beginning, and then like seeing how how truly traumatizing that event was.
Yeah.
And like the reveal on that and seeing that effects on him going forward, it all feels like really well done to me. And it's another thing that was very refreshing for this franchise.
I agree. Another thing that I found really refreshing, it's probably somewhere on it might not be on my list, but it should be. I really liked that this is the first Karate Kid, at least that I can remember. We just rewatched them, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. That he mentors somebody else. He's not just mentored within his own movie. He mentors somebody else, and I thought that was awesome. Low-key, that could have been its own movie, honestly.
It really could have been. Like, but it still didn't feel like it was underplayed. I still loved what we got from it.
It was still very much a part of his arc.
Yes. So I completely agree. It was a very unique thing. I didn't even see that coming.
No, me neither.
And then
I was a little
really
scared.
well.
I was a little scared. I was like, oh, where's this going? Is this going to be like the emotional part of the movie or what? It kind of was, but not in the way I expected, which I'm good. I'm good with that. So we'll talk about more specifics, but.
Yeah. I really liked.
Oh, I did write that down. Right. Anyways.
I also really liked having both Daniel and Han here.
Yeah.
I loved them kind of butting heads. They do explain how Mr. Han and Mr. Miyagi knew each other, and they
Yeah.
and they have it starts out with this really lovely animation.
Yeah.
I super love how they use that and then tie
Yeah.
into like the opening.
And they use that a little bit more. Not quite full screen, but they do like little snippets here and there, and it's really cool.
I love the editing they do to kind of enhance what you're watching with animation. It's very fun. It gives kind of almost like Heartstopper vibes, but a different like style.
Mm-hmm. That or Miss Marvel, like any kind of like.
Honestly, the editing reminded me a lot of Miss Marvel.
The
but
best
like
parts.
specifically like the first and last episode where where those were a highlight of those episodes.
Yes, absolutely. Very fun. They should use that more often.
I agree. I don't know. I wouldn't want it to get overplayed because I feel like it's something really cool because we don't see it a ton. But I feel like it's one of those things where I can very easily see the internet quickly turning on it and being like, ugh.
Well, because the reason I liked it and the reason I'm saying that is because I was a little worried at first because it's been done a few times before where I thought they were going to like CGI Miyagi's face and I was a little worried. But they didn't. They did an animated intro. And you know what? Do that instead. If you need to like add something to a character with an actor who's either not in the movie or has died, like do an animation.
I agree. And I think it also worked really well.
Don't use their face.
The opening
That's
scene
weird.
is in China, and it's clearly very Chinese art inspired.
Yeah, it was so pretty.
It was so cool. And then it kind of catches us up exactly where we needed to be. So, loved it. And then I liked how they interacted. I think them butting heads was really fun, but they have the shared interest over Li Feng. And seeing him interact, it was like, not him and his two dads.
No, for real.
And
it was so
energy.
giving. Yeah, it was.
It's so great.
No, again, I'm going to bring up Cobra Kai again. Okay.
You can just bring up Cobra Kai. Okay, we're talking about Karate Kid. You can talk about Cobra Kai.
Hey, he gets mad at me every time I bring up Cobra Kai, okay? Anyways, this is true. Anyways, so that's one of my favorite parts in Cobra Kai as well is when Johnny and Daniel, they butt heads the whole show. But every now and then, some outside force or whatever, whether it be the kids, whether it be a villain that's in the show, whatever it may be, several times throughout the show, it brings them together. It like forces them together, and they have to work together. And sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it works out for 5 minutes. It's just fascinating every time they have to do that because I think it's such a fun dynamic. They have such clear differences, but also clear similarities. I love the choice in Cobra Kai to make Daniel a little bit of an asshole. I think that's perfect for his character because, yeah, it's not just about, Johnny being a sore loser. It's also Daniel being a little bit of a
sore winner.
Show off. Yeah. So.
Which is definitely a real thing.
Absolutely. And I love that choice. I think it works very well for that show. So. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say about that for now.
I like it.
Also, killer soundtrack.
Indeed.
I saw somebody's review and they were like, horrible soundtrack. And I was like,
and that's
you're crazy.
Literally throughout the movie, me, and thankfully we were in the back row, so we weren't having to be acknowledged with our hype. But like almost every time they did a needle drop, me and Alicia both went into
woo, woo, woo,
it was,
woo.
I don't know. It was just super hype, and especially for like a sports movie. And I also really liked it because a lot of the times Lee was like wearing headphones, so it's like that's why we're listening to what we're listening to.
Yep. He has a good playlist. Like I want his
also
playlist.
like the last song that it ends on going into the credits.
That was
love
so
that
fun.
Song.
Yeah.
So
as soon as I heard, I was like, "Is that? Oh, yes, it is. Okay, thank you."
I don't know. It's always done over like training or like establishing shots of the city, which look gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I really can't imagine having a problem with the soundtrack.
It's crazy.
Like I guess sorry you don't want fun hype energy in your sports movie.
Sorry.
I don't know what you wanted here. It's truly mind-boggling to me. I don't understand.
Do you know you're watching a Karate Kid movie?
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's,
Do you know people like listen to music?
Right? I was like, okay, whatever.
Very bizarre. What else?
Also, the moves he was doing in this movie were awesome. Yes. He was doing so many flips and turns and spins, and I was like, this is awesome.
I will say, I think, and I'd imagine Cobra Kai's a little different, but after watching the 4 other Karate Kid movies, like, here's a Karate Kid movie where they actually, like, fight throughout the film, which was also a very nice change of pace.
Yeah, I mean, Cobra Kai, it's different because it's a TV show,
Yeah.
but they definitely have moments where they fight, and then something bad happens, and they're like, we're swearing off fighting, but then something brings them back to it. Very much like, yeah.
And I think it
Pretty
works
consistent.
a lot in the first movie, because, you know, you have that twist where it's like, oh, what you're doing is training, and you just didn't know that, because there's, you know, things to be learned from everything that you do. And then in the remake, in the 2010 remake, I really like the idea that Kung Fu is everything you do.
Yep.
And then
And they bring
the way
that back
bring
here.
that here, I would say it's more effective than when it's
I agree.
brought into the 2010.
I liked jacket on, jacket off way more here.
Yes, because I remember when we watched that in 2010, it's like he's just doing it for like weeks, and then it's like when he's doing the motions as he's being attacked, it's like, cool, that is not what he was doing.
Yeah. Like, wax on, wax off, you understand, because you're, like, pushing the hands out of the way. Like, you can see where those motions are coming from. Sanding, like, you know, different things that Miyagi taught him to do. But Han, it was like, jacket on does not translate well here, but it did in the movie.
In this movie, it definitely worked a lot better.
Well, because I think, to me, it wasn't as much, like, here's the moves you're doing by putting your jacket on and taking it off, because he was also working out while doing it. So I think that was nice. It was just kind of like a workout. So, yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
It's also a very emotional film in many different ways. Like, the reason his mom doesn't want him to fight, and he's hesitant to fight and freezes up at crazy moments. The love interest dad, that whole storyline was very emotional. Gosh, I don't even know what. I guess the Mr. Miyagi thing, like that mention, that's always going to be emotional.
I like the pause over him on just like showing how important he is to like the legacy of that original movie and this franchise. I like that they really honor his memory instead of trying to do something bad.
They never, up to this point, they have never used his face CGI, I don't think. No. Not that I remember. Not Cobra Kai, not in the movie, so yeah. And I'm very glad. Very glad.
One other thing I wanted to add is that I actually also really like the romance here.
Yeah.
It feels like maybe the most authentic love interest of all of these movies so far.
Oh, and she was great.
And
First
she's
of all,
so great.
She's Maya Mitchell's twin. Like, she, especially when it's a little bit far away and she's like to the side and moving, like talking, I'm like, that's literally Maya Mitchell.
Your head.
No, okay. It's like, I'm thinking of the scene where they're in the pizza shop and you see someone's, like, it's like from a table point of view and she's on the other side of the bar and she's talking to somebody about an order. I'm like, that's literally Maya Mitchell right there. Like, hey, queen. But no, she was great. She was very animated too. I loved the way she could move her face. Like, that's, you know, not everybody can do that. So she can move like every aspect of her face. So
yeah, but I really liked in this regard, maybe another thing that makes it different is that they bonded more as like he was in a new place and didn't know anyone, and she was like offering him like a hand in friendship and community first, instead of it being like, hey girl,
hey,
like I like that it was like a friendship foundation that led into something more, you know, quickly, because bro, look at these two, they're both farming aura constantly.
But yeah, it's great.
But I don't know, it really worked here more than I think it did in some of the other movies, just because it's
well,
I feel like it's spending a lot more time to show why this works.
Hey, this seems like a relationship that could actually, you know, go into a sequel if they ever make one, unlike the original trilogy. So Daniel was a player. Okay, he was a player.
Real.
So, and you know what? He was great at it. He had that riz. He was like, hey, my name is Daniel. What's yours?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
DeRezzo.
He had that charm. He was
Rizzo.
just like so energetic. He was just like, he gives me like hiccup energy because like he like moves his arms and like the body movements give hiccup, but also the charm. Even though he's like kind of like a nerd, but like he's still very charming. I don't know. It gives that vibes.
For sure.
Anyways, those are all the main pros that I thought of because I already said the mom was great.
A lot of pros. I feel like we probably said this before, but the action is so fun.
Oh yeah.
Like some of the most
From
fun.
everybody. Even the dad's the one who does the boxing, but he does great too. Like I don't know. I'm not like wishing for the kung fu or karate back. Like I mean I'm glad we got there, but I was having a good time.
Yeah.
This is great. The training scenes were great, and
I really liked it highlighting all the different types of fighting.
Yeah.
And kind of combining them all into like mixed martial arts, which is a whole thing that people practice and train. So
yep.
it just it feels like the coming together of like the legacy of the other movies, what they're trying to do now, and then like all of the different fighting styles. So it just feels it's all one big melting pot. Also convenient with the main character moving to New York and the U.S., which is the world's melting pot.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. It feels really successful, and like all of the ideas kind of combining and becoming this story and this journey. It feels
Yeah. Well, and I like that Lee is telling the dad like, you know, your problem is you take more punches than you give, and you act like a stone, and inevitably a stone is going to crack and break if it gets hit enough. You need to be like water, so not only do you avoid more punches, but you also don't break.
Yeah, that's
So.
another thing. The script
That was
is also
awesome.
really great. There's some
Yeah.
amazing lines here.
Yeah.
There's one really great line that I'm gonna also leave a cliffhanger on. Where It's
Okay.
like this person fights like a tiger, and I fought a lot of tigers. How do you fight a tiger? Here's how. And like that's a great line.
What a line. That was really cool. And it made for a great finale too. So.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that until we get to spoiler talk.
Indeed.
But yeah.
And then I guess we can go through the cons. I'm interested to see.
Mine are kind of nitpicky.
Yeah, go for it.
So I will say this movie is very fast paced, but I feel like it used its runtime well, and it was consistently, I would say, fast paced for the most part. I had a couple like okay, we'll take our time with this, but it was very like it didn't feel choppy. I will say
For sure.
it like things were happening quickly because they were using their time, but it didn't feel like we're here and then we're here and then we're here and then we're here. It didn't feel like that. But that may be a lot for some people. I can see how it might bother some people, like how fast they go between scenes. But I was still able to follow it. So I don't know. I didn't mind. It's kind of like not really a con, but I did want to like just point it out and talk about it. So it did have a short runtime. So what can you do? Also, the marketing was bad for this movie because what the heck was that trailer compared to what this movie was?
Yeah, I remember. What did we see
was
last
like-
week? Last week was
You talking about the new releases?
yes.
Oh, Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch?
I think it was Lilo and Stitch, and they played a trailer that I had never seen before,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Why does that actually look like a great movie now?" So I
Yeah.
did not love any of the trailers for this movie until that one, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, that's a
Where
movie
was
I
this
want to
trailer?
see."
Yeah. Well, and it I think some of the best parts of this is how great the main actor is. Didn't really show off his acting skills that well and like his, charm
trailer.
and personality in the trailer. And then the action was really fascinating. I thought, maybe if they showed a little bit, maybe teased a little bit of boxing, kung fu, karate, maybe if they mentioned like that's the legend happening here. That would have been cool. And then the humor. And maybe the
Yes.
soundtrack. Maybe they could have done a little like popular song in there.
Yeah,
But
it's very
have some
interesting.
jokes in there. Have some charm. That's how you combine your showing off your main actor and the humor is you put in some of his hilarious lines in there. So,
Yeah, I
I don't
agree
know.
that it's crazy that so much of the stuff that works for this movie was just not advertised.
no.
And I feel like maybe that's another reason maybe critics felt so off about it, because
Maybe they expected something totally different.
yeah, and I think it's advertised as a very serious movie, and obviously it takes things seriously, but it's a very fun movie.
Yeah.
It's very fun. I would say very empowering, very heartfelt
Yeah.
movie, and you just don't get that from the trailer, or I don't get that at all from
I don't either.
every trailer except that last one I saw.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
it's very interesting, but then I can't imagine being a critic and being like, oh, this isn't the serious karate training movie that I wanted it to be. This is so much more funny,
Right?
and creative and unique in the franchise.
This
and
is
this
just
isn't
so
what I
much-
wanted at all.
This is just so much better. Like,
I don't know. I
I didn't want this.
I
I
truly-
asked for this.
I truly can't get in the mind of a critic on this one.
I don't know. I can't either.
Sometimes critics are just wrong.
Yeah.
So truly.
Yeah. So, whatever. I guess you either love it or you hate it. That's how the Rotten Tomato score looks right now.
And but that's another thing with the Rotten Tomato score, because I remember it was like around a 50 at some point. And I know that like it's based off, like it goes down for everyone who has a rotten reaction.
Yes.
And I just can't imagine having a rotten reaction with this.
I can't either.
Like
I don't know.
I can fathom at most being like, that was fine. It's not
Yeah.
the original, but like
To give it a rotten score is surprising
that's
to me.
some wild behavior.
I don't know. I actually would be. Maybe we should read some of the reviews just to see why. Like some
Maybe
of them
I would
didn't
actually
like
be really
them.
interested to hear some of that.
Yeah, we
So
can
maybe we can
absolutely
do that.
It's and then I mentioned this earlier. It took a little bit to get to the karate, but again, I loved what was happening in between. Like I was not missing it. I was not anxious for it. It was on the back of my mind. Like, this is really good. It's not a karate movie yet, but like this is really good. But then it definitely got there. It took its time to get there. It's not like an afterthought. It's very much like at least a third of the movie, if not more. But you see the seeds. Like he mentions, everything is everything is kung fu, even boxing.
And
So
I love
it's
that
like
there's like things I can remember specifically one moment where it's like you see him put on his jacket and he does that exact same motion. It's like, wow, like I feel like he truly believes that,
yeah,
which was really cool.
yeah,
And then also another note to add on to that, there's not a lot of actual like karate fighting in any of the other ones. Like
No.
Borderline here, at least you even see our main character practicing actual fighting moves,
Yeah.
which you don't see in any of the other ones. Which in the first one, I think that works really well because it's a very unique reveal about how he's
Yeah.
training.
Mm-hmm.
But here there's way more actual like fight training than
Yeah.
ever before. Which
Yeah.
And there's also a really creative way at looking at like everything you do is training.
Yes.
And they do that way more creatively than I would
Any of
say
the
at
others.
least as creatively as the first one.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
So
I agree.
I don't know. It feels like people who gave it this score don't realize that there were two other Daniel and Miyagi movies.
Right? It's like they only watched the original and then they watched this one. But even then, it's like it's so different and still so fun. I don't know.
Yeah. The one note I kind of had coming out of the movie was there was one moment in the movie with the romance that they were trying to do where it was like maybe she's not that into me. But it was like in a way where clearly that's not the case because some horrible things are kind of in the context of what that would mean for that character if what Lee thought was happening. It's just like, I don't buy this for a second, and here we are making a whole thing out of it. One thing about me, like deeply to my core, is I can't stand people choosing to make unimportant things a thing.
Yeah.
Like, if this is something that you can just get, like, if it doesn't need to be a thing, and it's like a one-time thing, and it won't ever come back in any meaningful context, why be like, hey, you know what? We're going to talk about
We're
this.
going to
It's
talk
like,
about this and make it a whole thing.
like, oh my god, this doesn't need to be a thing. And it gives me that energy where it's like,
Yeah.
this is, like, I know this isn't going to be what he thinks, and actually, I really don't like that we're pretending for a second that I'm supposed to buy it
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of, I think, the first Karate Kid movie. Yeah, I think that's the only one Allie's in.
Right, I actually forgot about that moment.
Yeah, where her parents are making her dance with Johnny, and then I think he tries to kiss her. He does kiss
he
her,
does.
but then and then she like totally shoves him away. But Daniel doesn't see the shove. But then
he's mad at
Is
her
he-
the entire movie. At least
Yeah.
in this vein, it's like you misunderstood that.
like a one conversation, and then we're
it
done.
goes into one of the funniest jokes.
Yeah, that's true.
So I will say, at least
So-
even this over the first one got over that really quickly.
That is true. But also, I could totally see Daniel being like super insecure about that and kind of immature about that.
Oh, for sure.
Lee, not so much. But again,
And then
it
I
was
really
like a
liked
5-minute thing,
But
you
I also
know.
really liked how he approached it. I was like, hey, I get it. Actually, no, I don't get it.
Actually, no, it actually really bothers me and I hate it. So let's talk about it.
That's so real. I don't know.
That is so real.
And like I think that's a testament that even like the one thing I left that movie being like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't love that they did that. The actors make
Make it
fun,
fun.
like make it fun around that.
Yeah, I agree.
Ugh, and it's just such a
It is
testament.
cool.
This is a great movie.
Yeah. Is that it? Do you have any other
I
thoughts?
think we can go ahead and hop into spoiler section. So, you have been warned. Do you have a
Yes.
spoiler count? Okay. Oh, of course you do.
Yeah, it's right
Okay,
there.
So you have been warned we're about to spoil the new Karate Kid Legends movie. So if you
Watch
wanted
your
to watch that
ears.
first, but clearly we recommended. There was one
Yeah.
surprise that really got that I really enjoyed and completely like overwhelmed Alicia. So it's worth seeing in theaters. I think.
Okay.
The movie itself is definitely worth seeing in theaters, but there's definitely some reveals I would recommend
Yeah.
experiencing in the theaters.
Yeah.
So 3, 2, 1.
Johnny!
Johnny,
I
Johnny.
love Johnny! Johnny, my love. I love you so much. Oh my god. I love
loved
him
pitching the pizza
so
place. That
much.
was such a
right?
funny scene as well.
That's why you need to watch Cobra Kai. He's so funny in that
Miyagi-Do.
show.
Miyagi-Do.
Miyagi Do. Miyagi.
Was it Olives on,
Pizza
Olives
dough.
off?
Yes! Oh my god, I love him so much. I'm so sorry for y'all's ears. Really loud on the thing. I'm sorry.
This is exactly how she was in the theater as well.
I love Johnny so much. You don't understand. I've seen 5 seasons of Cobra Kai, who's all about Johnny. I love him so much. He's such an interesting character to me, and I was so excited to see him. I did not know. I was freaking out when I saw him. I'm freaking out right now, but I was like, oh my god. Anyways, that's the Cobra Kai mention because we didn't really get anything else. We didn't even get like Daniel mentioning his kids, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
He has 2 of them. He has a wife. He has a whole dojo.
But I think what I really liked about it is that I don't, at least, and I haven't seen the show, so I can't say for sure, but, I feel like it didn't need to, and it felt like we weren't missing anything by him not being like, oh, did you know all of this was happening on Netflix?
Yeah, but I do feel like it is kind of like oh, that's fun, it's Johnny. And then it would make you wonder, why are they friends? Go watch the show. Yeah. So, it's really good. It really is good. I saw this tweet the other day, like, these people will look you in the eye with a serious face and tell you to watch Cobra Kai. And I was like, that's me. I don't care that you're making fun of me. I don't know why you're making fun of me. That show's great. I love it. Anyways, yeah. It's got some great actors in there. If you saw Blue Beetle, it has the main character. He's the main character. Well, the other main character in that show. He's the main kid in that show.
I think his name is Jolo. It starts with an X in it.
Yeah, Zolo I forgot his last name.
You go ahead and Google that.
I love him though. He's also amazing.
Yes.
Oh my god, I don't know how to say this. I'm so sorry. Marijuana? I'm so sorry. Formal apology right now.
Right.
I'm really bad with names in general. I'm so sorry.
Absolutely.
Anyways.
So
Love him though. But yeah, I was very excited to see Johnny. I agree. You don't need to watch Cobra Kai to get enough out of that scene. I think it's obviously, as you saw with my reaction, a little more emotional when you've seen the show. But it is fun. And the jokes were really funny. So I'm telling you, once they work together, they have a fun dynamic. And then you, like, hate when they butt heads. You're like, come on, guys.
us.
Like, you're adults. Get over yourself.
It's us.
We're also adults that probably need to get over ourselves, but it's fun to bicker, you know?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Like, who cares that I cut off Celine Dion's song at the end of Titanic?
I care. Let me tell you what happened last night.
See?
Let me tell you what happened right now. We watched the whole Titanic. We didn't skip a single scene. We watched the whole thing. You know, why would you? Like, the movie's great. But that movie, like, I never feel its runtime. I was wondering if I would have felt its runtime, and I didn't.
I remember I checked the time, like, one time, and I was, like, at the halfway point, and I was like...
Yeah.
I was mostly just curious when, like, the crash starts happening.
Yeah. It happened pretty soon after that, though.
Yes.
It takes a long time to go through the crash. So...
Yeah, I like... Because they say it's going to go down in, like, an hour. And,
yeah.
like, it's almost exactly the amount of time it takes.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
I think they do that on purpose.
Sure.
They say like 37 minutes, and I read somewhere that it was actually 37 minutes. Something like that. So, yeah, they try to be really accurate with that. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then we finally get the song that has been teased the entire movie, My Heart Will Go On. First of all, James Cameron, stop acting like you don't know who Celine Dion is.
That is
He said,
crazy.
I read on IMDb that he was like, oh, Celine Dion, isn't she big? Dude, shut up. Stop acting like you don't know who she is. Anyways, maybe she wasn't that big back then, but I'm pretty sure she was. So, anyways, thank goodness they convinced him to have that song because it's great. And then we're about to get to the good part of the movie when she like just full on belts. And he turns it off. So then I go in my car.
Okay,
and
I
I
feel
turn
like some
on.
context. This was at like 1:30 in the morning.
Who cares? It's like a minute and a half left in the song. Who cares? We already stayed up this late. What's one more minute? What's 2 more minutes? Anyways, and then so I get in my car and I blast the song. Little did I know that he could hear me from his house.
From the house as she's going down the street.
Listen, I was belting that out.
I
It
saw.
was great.
I heard.
I heard. Anyways, let's
we're
get
talking
back
about
to
the
the
Karate Kid.
cast.
So I think we talked a lot about Ben Wang. He's really
Yes,
great.
He's awesome.
I really love the emotional beats he was able to have with his brother dying.
Yeah.
And him not kind of stepping up to stop it, or at least freezing.
Yeah.
I super love the dynamic between him and Han.
Yeah.
And Han being like or no, I think he was with Daniel, because Han already knew because he was there.
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel being like, no, not me jumping between all the senseis. But it was the boxer guy, the dad.
Right.
And he was
I don't
like-
think Daniel ever found out, but the boxer dude
Yes,
did.
because he was like, man, you gotta let that go.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get control of that, or it's gonna control you.
Yeah.
And another great
Another
line.
great line. Mm-hmm. Speaking of the boxer guy, I totally thought he was a goner in that scene. I thought he was gonna die. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna like feel
Oh, no.
responsible
Oh, no.
for
Oh, no.
his death, just like his brother. Oh my god, thank God he did not die.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I was a little scared. I was like, I fear I'm scared for his life right now.
Yeah,
So,
real. And it was brutal.
anyways,
That was
mhm.
fucking brutal.
Yeah.
What other things to say about
So-
Ben Wang and Li Feng that we haven't said already? Love his dynamic with every character. Him training. Oh, I loved his 1-inch punch. I
Yeah.
loved seeing him do that. And then him,
I
like,
liked the
knocking the
pickle jars or whatever it was, olives,
Yes, him
whatever
kicking
it
the
was.
chair out
Probably olives.
in that
with
stance
pizza.
was so cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, man.
And then him practicing on the subway was really cool. The dad.
Mhm.
Anyways,
I loved his training. I thought him training with
when they were throwing him
Daniel
around
and-
like a rag doll, and he was like, "No, no, 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 no!" and
No.
they just threw him again.
In karate, we do this. No, 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 no. In kung fu, we do this.
It's
Guys,
like-
in Brooklyn, this is considered assault.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was so cool. And then I like
I
that
also-
he did those same moves to the guy in the last fight.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Yeah.
Ugh, I loved him training for the kick.
Mm-hmm.
I think all the times he tried to do the kick, like, you know, you see him flash back to his brother teaching him it.
Yeah.
And not getting it down. Him trying to do it in that first schoolyard fight and getting kicked out of it.
Oh my
And then
God.
training to go under the bar was awesome.
Yeah. And then seeing him actually do that when he uses it in the fight was really cool.
Yeah. Oh, and that's
Yeah.
another thing. The line, how do you fight someone who fights like a tiger?
You set a trap.
And, oh my god!
Oh my
that was
God,
so
chills.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ate with that one, Danielson. You ate.
Yeah. They talk about that in Cobra Kai too. They talk about, using their aggression against them.
Mhm.
Absolutely they do. And, on the opposite side, since they very much explore the pros and cons of both Cobra Kai style and Miyagi-Do style, using defense against them, that they don't strike first. So using that against them, that they just defend and don't fight back. So they very much explore that as well.
That
It's
is
very
fascinating.
fascinating. So, yeah. Anyways. Oh, also, speaking of, I loved when Lee needed to get the ropes in the boxing match, and he was like,
Yeah, because
he was
Oh my
struggling.
god, he also ate with that when he's training the boxer, and he's like, I'm not gonna fight someone who's 150 pounds. He's like, hey, you're not.
I'm 125.
125. It's like, oh my gosh.
That was great.
Ugh,
That
he's
was
so
funny.
cool.
Mhm.
He's such a fun character, and I really want to see him do other characters. Because honestly, I feel like
I also feel like he has a really unique voice, and I kind of want him to do voice acting.
he'd
At
be
some
great.
point.
Like I feel like he could easily go into anime
Yeah, or like just like
and normal
an
like,
animation.
as well. But I feel like specifically in anime, he could have some really fun with
Yeah.
dubbing.
Mhm.
And honestly, with him, I don't know if he's fluent in Chinese, but he speaks Chinese in the movie, or Mandarin in the movie. So, anything from the China market, which is
Yeah.
huge for movies, especially.
Anything that
there's
speaks in
something he can do
Mandarin.
there.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's just really great. And I feel like he kind of gives some, like, Jackie Chan energy with him being a martial artist and having such a fun personality as well.
I agree.
I feel like he could find a very niche role to kind of blow up himself. Like
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't know if
glad
there's
he's-
necessarily an opening for him, but I feel like he can make a really nice position for himself in
I
Hollywood
think
if he keeps momentum.
Hunger Games is going to be really good for him. Even though it's not a huge role, I think he can very much shine. It's like Mission Impossible, Milchek's actor. It's like, I forgot his first name, like Tramwell or something.
Tramwell.
Yeah. He was great. And somebody was like, he's like the only person I've ever seen steal a scene from Tom Cruise. And I'm like, I have to agree. I rewatched that movie. I have to agree. He kind of stole that
eats that.
scene. That was his scene. So, yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like whoever he's in a scene with, I fear he's going to eat really well. I wonder, I forget it. I think they do an interview scene before the games. I wonder if they show his. I don't remember if they talk about it in the book.
I
but
fear now they will definitely want to.
Yeah.
They're going to watch this movie and be like, oh my gosh, we need
I
more scenes.
hope so. I hope so, at
I'd
least.
be surprised
We'll
if they
see.
didn't. He's so charming.
Yeah. Say what you want about this movie. He's very charming.
Yeah, he's amazing in like
Yeah.
every aspect. It's I want to see so much more of him. What I said,
Yeah.
I actually don't think I mentioned this earlier. We were talking about his future.
Mm-hmm.
So right now in Marvel Comics,
Yeah.
Iron Fist,
Mm-hmm.
who starts out in at least everyone's brain, is Danny Rand.
Mm-hmm.
He's this rich millionaire. His plane went down. His parents died. The monks of Kunlun found him,
Mm-hmm.
raised him. He eventually took the journey to become the Iron Fist protector of that city.
Yep.
And he's been Iron Fist until I want to say it's like in the 2012 to like 16 range.
Okay.
There's a character called Sword Master, I believe is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he is an actual Asian character. I don't know where in Asia, but he ends up taking
that's cool.
the mantle from Danny. It's like passed down to him for whatever reason, and I feel like Ben Wang would be, if he got a growth spurt. He's a little
man.
short right now
He's
to
gotta-
fit among other defenders, but
Yeah. He's
but
got to hit puberty another time or one time or whatever.
yes.
A little
But I
bit.
feel like he would be so great to fill that role
I feel
as
like
the new
in a
Iron
few
Fist.
years, yeah.
It just feels inspired and almost like
I can see
he was
the
almost,
vision.
like, born to be this role as the charming, charismatic, funny, and quippy Iron Fist that we haven't seen from our current live action Iron Fist.
He would, yeah.
I want to see that so badly. So badly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool. He's so cool. He's so charming. And right now, that's the Iron Fist that's really popular in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
So.
Very fun. Very fun.
And
So
I
we'll
don't know.
see.
Maybe they can even do something with him being like smaller in build than some of the other people. Because clearly in this movie, he can still make it work.
Yeah. He's still very much a threat.
So it's. I don't know. I feel like that's just. I feel like he's already having those conversations with an agent. But.
He's like, get me this role right now.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
We haven't talked a lot about Sadie Stanley.
She did great. I
Yep.
don't know if I have a whole lot more to say. I think just she
I
did
really liked her.
great.
I liked the trade-off between learning Mandarin and learning New York.
Yeah.
I thought that was really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The thing we were talking about earlier about, like, I know this isn't real, so why are we acting like it's real? It's her getting back with the bully who is her ex at, like, a carnival, and it's like, no,
He actually works with people that have sent people to, like, kill her father.
Yeah.
Or at least rough him up a lot.
And she's, like, very aware of that, so
Yeah.
let's stop acting like this is something
Yeah.
that's gonna, that is real.
But I like the line where she's like, you know, I made my mistakes with him, but I don't want to anymore. And I told him that. I want to make my mistakes with you.
Yeah.
I thought that was
beautiful
really
line.
cool. Mm-hmm.
I loved, you guys are training? This is a horrible idea. Well, I guess someone has to run this pizza shop.
Yeah.
I love the energy
She was
has with
great.
her dad.
Yeah.
I also
great
loved
energy.
throughout the movie as we start seeing slowly, like, because obviously she starts working in that pizza parlor, and then Lee starts working in the parlor, and then Alan also just is there at the end working there. Loved that energy.
Alan was great. The actors from It.
Yes.
Just very fun.
He plays Stanley in it, and man, I was worried because how did you not advertise that? Because also he's so funny every single scene.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy that they didn't advertise him being in this movie at all.
He has that, like, guitar scene.
Yes, he's.
Oh, I was cracking up. I was dying. I was crying, laughing. That's how funny it was
You
to me.
are
My fire.
Oh my gosh! And he's. I never want.
Right?
Oh
He's
my
saying
gosh.
exactly like that, and it was hilarious.
And then she had that great line. Unfortunately, I've fallen for Alan.
I'm falling in love with Alan.
His
Sorry.
guitar skills.
Yeah.
I love. I loved it. And what a ride or die.
Yeah. No, for real.
Such a
He
fun.
said, "You're
energy." Uh,
actually doing really well at calculus." You're actually
I lied.
not doing
You're
well at
doing
calculus.
horrible.
All of this is wrong. That was funny.
Oh, and then you
She's-
also. Oh, go ahead.
She's Sadie Stanley is Kim Possible in the
Yeah.
live action Kim Possible
Just
movie.
crazy. I almost feel like I
have
need to
not
watch
seen
that
it.
now because I love the
Kinda
show
me
Kim
too.
Possible.
Yeah,
now
me too.
I need to actually judge how she is in that movie because inherently
Yeah.
horrible idea to make that.
Yeah, and I heard it was bad.
But now,
But-
now I'm curious if we can like see elements of her
Her.
being a good actress in that in What's a Bad Role. I'm so
Maybe
curious.
she's good, but the movie's just bad.
Yeah.
That's happened before. And she's also in a TV show, I think on Prime or Max, I don't remember which
think
one,
it's
called
Prime.
Cruel Summer. Yeah. Which I've not heard a lot about, but at some point I must have heard something good because I added it to my list. It's been on my list forever. So clearly, I was saying earlier, clearly I need to watch my watch list because I have American Born Chinese on here that I haven't seen for years, and then Cruel Summer, same thing.
And then Aramis Knight, who is the bully, apparently he's Red Dagger in Miss Marvel, which
Yeah.
he had so much aura in that as well.
Yeah. He did great here. He was like serious threat.
And
But
it
he
wasn't
was also-
overplayed. It didn't feel like,
No.
oh, this is someone who would be like in jail by now. Nope.
Yeah.
Like it felt like the movie reacted accordingly to him, and he was always
Yeah.
like on that line of like committing a crime
Yes.
and just being
Yeah.
like a ruffian teenager.
Mhm.
It felt way more authentic here than I think it ever has.
Yeah, I agree. Anyways, those are the only people I wrote down. Everybody else did good, but I don't know.
Yeah, no one else I think was a huge highlight. I really liked the fighting animation style whenever they got to the tournament.
Yeah.
I thought that was super fun.
Counting the points. Saying they did something. Oh, they also did like leading up to that, they did the day countdown. I thought that was cool. 5, 6, whatever days, however many days. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Fun little way to bring it back.
Absolutely.
It was not overused.
I completely agree. I fear
Are we ready to rank them?
we've gotten through all of our notes. So yes, I am down to rank them. I feel like we probably have... Oh, actually, I don't know. I think you know, but I don't think I know.
Oh my god, why did that sound like Chewbacca?
It really did. I don't know. Okay, so it's really hard because I'm stuck between what I would put as number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, I
know
feel
you
like...
know,
Yeah.
but I don't... And maybe I'll have this conversation when we get there. So starting at 5.
Yes.
And we are not including the next Karate Kid. We did not bother to see
No,
that.
with Hilary Swank, we have not seen that.
We'll survive.
Sorry, guys.
So, let me
That
actually...
one also has Mr. Miyagi. I guess we need to.
Do we?
Do we? I don't know. Let's watch Karate Kid first.
You are...
So we're only ranking the 5. We're ranking Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, the new Karate Kid 2010 version, and then Karate Kid Legends. Those are the 5 we're doing. We're not including Cobra Kai because that's not a movie.
Oh, interesting. I don't...
And you haven't seen it, so.
Did I rank that as low? Oh. I guess I do have a favorite.
Okay.
I didn't realize I ranked one of them lower than the other, just like on my scale.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we can easily say our least favorite is
3.
Karate Kid 3.
Yes.
By far. There's a reason it has a 15% Rotten Tomato score.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's unfortunate because Terry Silver is such like a scary villain. So it's a shame that he's in such a horrible movie.
Yeah,
And it's done
rough.
so
It's
poorly.
No, because what is it? We were talking during that movie about you can have a bad movie and it can be fun. You can have a boring movie, but it can be interesting or important.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot have a bad and a boring movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, like, it's the worst thing your movie can be. Forget
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, actually.
So, and that is, unfortunately, Karate Kid 3.
Yeah.
So,
Anyways.
sorry.
And then...
number 4, I would say Karate Kid 2.
Me too.
Really interesting idea with them going to Mr. Miyagi's
Okinawa.
Home country of Okinawa, seeing
Mm-hmm.
the dynamic that he left there with.
Mm-hmm.
However, I hate the guy who plays the antagonist guy, like the older guy.
Yeah, he
Just
was
like,
not that
dude,
good.
Get over yourself.
Yeah.
You're rich, and Miyagi was like plumbing in America, and it's like, why are you acting like you're the one who lost here by him leaving?
Yeah.
You.
I don't know.
It's so weird.
I know,
And
like,
then I
honor
really-
is a big thing, but... And so maybe it makes more sense. I don't know. But it just seemed very, like...
Well, because this is another thing. He's always talking about honor, but then he's also an asshole. He's
Yeah.
not honorable in anything he's doing.
It's true. So even if honor or dishonor would last that long, you're also dishonoring your entire community because you suck as a human being. So
So that
Yeah.
such a double, like, you can't do both things.
yeah,
Like, it would be almost different if, like, it was more about this, like, personal, like, betrayal against his friend, and he was a great person otherwise, and the community was against Miyagi on it.
yeah,
And then, like, maybe you have that crazy kid training under the, like, rival who, like, is taking it super personally.
Chosen!
And then he's that really crazy guy
you're
who
like,
he is.
why do you like Chosen? And you're like, and I'm like, watch Cobra Kai.
He's insane in 2. Like, he, like, needs to be, like, he needs help. Like,
he's my little
he's
psycho.
crazy.
Okay, I love him so much.
They do have the iconic honk.
yeah,
That is iconic for
Yeah.
sure, but everything else in that movie, and then it just ends in a weird temple ceremony that, like, they mentioned like 2 times. It's like, and then that love interest always having messy hair in every
her hair
scene.
was so bad. Who hated her? Who had? Because she had such silky hair too. Like the potential for beautiful hair was so there. I don't know who
Without
had a vendetta
fail.
against her, but they did. Oh my god, they hated her. I was like, girlfriend, you're serving face right now, but your hair is not giving. Oh my god. Because they would like, I don't even know how they did what they did to her hair.
It's like she would
It
have her
was
hair up.
bad, but it
like,
was
and they
halfway
would still
falling
be
out.
frizzy everywhere.
Yes. I'm like, girl, do a braid or something. I don't know. Put it in a bun, like a tight bun. I don't know. Do something with that hair. Leave it down. It's probably gonna be less frizzy if you leave it down somehow.
She like puts it down and then it goes like.
Yeah. Oh my god. For real.
Okay, number
Number
three.
three.
I fear we also have it the same 3, 2,
The
1.
remake?
The 2010
Yeah.
remake of Karate Kid.
This had the potential to be higher.
It had some great potential. I think Will Smith, or not Will Smith,
Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith did, like, he has a lot of personality.
Yeah.
Really interesting to give kind of the reverse where, you know, our main character, Karate Kid, is the American going to a foreign country.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. Han has
And
a
he's
lot
so
of
much
potential in
younger
that
than
movie.
Daniel
He's
was.
very young.
So. Yeah.
And I love Karaj T. Henson as the mom.
Yes.
She's so fun as the mom.
Oh my god, she's awesome. Okay, she's like a close second to the moms. Very close second. Maybe first.
I fear she's unfortunately still first for me because I
Okay.
think this was a bigger role than
Yeah, that's true.
Ming-Wen had.
Mhm. That is true.
But so best mom,
She's so
gotta give her
iconic.
that.
Yeah.
I think I loved it bringing in the idea that kung fu is in everything you do. I wish they showed it more.
Mhm.
But
Like Legends, I think showed it really well. That one,
Yeah.
it kind of just said it.
yeah,
So
but
threw
they
a really
brought-
interesting idea out there, and then it was like, oh, but we have to like throw in a line there from the original Karate Kid.
with Mr. Han.
Every 15 minutes.
I liked the emotional part of his story.
Yeah.
And when we explored that, I liked going to that like temple that they did, and there was
Mm-hmm.
some cool signs of like, how do you get a snake to copy you, or and like that whole idea that you kind of see later. I
Mm-hmm.
think the bullies are the worst here.
Yeah. The bully's just really annoying. It's kind of funny though. I wonder if it's partially because he's like 12 that you're like, dude, you're annoying.
Hey, no one's gonna stop this kid. No one's gonna stop this.
I'm gonna
gang
find
of
you
kids
and I'm
fighting
gonna
this
kill you.
Other kid.
And he's like a high pitched voice because he hasn't hit puberty yet. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
right.
The love interest, I think she's a cutie, but
Yeah,
I think her like
she's,
the whole thing with her parents feels odd.
Eh. Anyways,
Def-
that's that.
right.
Right.
Then, but every time it like
Mm-hmm.
stops doing something unique, so it can be taking points
The
directly
Karate
out of the
Kid.
first one. It's like, ugh,
An eye roll. It's not needed, and it actually is actually very aggravating every time I hear it.
very aggravating. So
So
ultimately, and I can see why it was taken so much better than like the sequels to the original.
mhm.
But I would say it's still not like it's like so close to being a good movie for me.
Yeah. When it, if it just had the confidence to be its own thing, it would have been a good movie.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, it didn't. So
yeah, very
oh
goofy.
well. I
And
still
then
feel
also
like it's
another thing-
watchable. I still put it 3 out of 5 stars.
It is watchable, but I don't know. It's not it for me.
Yeah.
But and another thing that I think is just crazy is the entire movie he's learning kung fu and not karate at all.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, so
call
why
it
is
the
it
kung
the
fu
karate?
kid. It's not the Karate Kid. He doesn't learn karate.
That's true. At least in Legends, it's like,
You're learning
all
a little bit of
them.
everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any of the characters from the original to like even warrant it being called the Karate Kid in any
Yeah.
capacity.
That's true.
It's very whatever.
Yeah, that's so true.
Okay, number 2. I will say 2 and 1 were very close for me, and I honestly thought that had given them both the same score.
Mhm.
And then looking at my list, apparently I did rank 1 lower after I watched it. So apparently I subconsciously made my choice.
Mhm.
So 3, 2, 1.
The
The Karate Kid.
Kid.
Yeah,
It's me too.
I was very surprised at how much I actually really loved the first one.
Mhm.
It
Me
really
too.
works. I love the highlighting of like the friendship being developed between these two completely different individuals.
Mhm.
I like there's kind of a subtext of them coming to a new place and not knowing anyone and having to like, they find community with each other, which really works. I really like Miyagi's training.
Yeah.
And the whole reveal of, oh, you've been doing all these chores, that was your training.
Yeah.
And I love how authentic that feels with that reveal. Like, you see him do the stuff and it doesn't feel unlike the 2010 where it's like, oh, is that what he's been doing? It's like, that is exactly what he's been doing, and I can see exactly what you're talking about. So that all really works. Competition really works for me. I think Allie's fun most of the movie.
Yeah.
I think...
She's my favorite, like, love interest of the three, I think.
Interesting. Oh, of the three, for sure.
Yeah. In the original
it was really
trilogy.
funny to find out that she's, like, that one person from The Boys who's, like,
who gives her
seeing
breast milk to
Homelander.
Homelander.
Oh,
You're like,
crazy.
Allie, what are you doing here? Why would you do it? Daniel's son is
You
like,
left
why would
Daniel
you do this?
LaRusso for this?
Oh my god.
Crazy.
That would be crazy. For an evil Superman,
Um,
that's crazy.
But I actually really like the bully actually here too. He's not... I think the bully in Legends has him beat, but he definitely makes a good impression. I really like that he comes around at the end.
Yeah.
And he's, like, not completely sold on his psycho teacher. When he's like, break the leg. And he's like...
You can see that, like, hesitation in his eyes, and I think that's fascinating. And then even, I like afterwards that they show the teacher being abusive to him, because that's a part of his arc, and that's a lot. And that adds to what he is, or who he is as a teacher in Cobra Kai. Because he goes a little far sometimes. He's not Kreese, though. I think that's the point, is he's not Kreese. He may go too far sometimes, but he knows that and he admits that. Kreese is very much like, I'll admit that, and I'm not a psycho like Terry Silver, because he still has some nuance. I really like what they do with him in Cobra Kai as well. But he's still, like, not a good guy. I don't know. Johnny Lawrence is very much more nuanced, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, even in the original film, not even just in Cobra Kai, but
and it feels very much like this is someone, like, it feels like he's someone who was just kind of given a bad hand. And I like that you can see hints of him, like, not being completely sold on what this person he's supposed to look up to is telling him.
Yep. Exactly. Ugh, another great thing explored in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Your actions as a teacher have consequences.
For sure.
Really bad consequences sometimes.
And then
that's both sides. So.
And then that does leave number one with
Karate Kid Legends.
I will say, I feel like if you ask me, I can definitely go back and forth on Karate Kid Legends and the original Karate Kid.
I think me too.
I think those are very close for me. It's a 0.5 difference on my score. So they have, like, the same score if I were to put them into, like, a 5-star.
Yeah.
So, but they're just such great movies. And this one, I think it just builds off of the old a lot better. It's like they were trying to build off the old the way the 2010 one was trying to.
Yeah.
But they do it successfully here.
Yes.
And I think...
Because it's also very much its own thing. You could, like, not watch the other movies and still have a great time with this movie.
Absolutely.
I would say.
Absolutely.
You would have more emotion, but I feel like you could go into this just from the start.
For
so,
sure. And I think that's a testament to how much it is just its own thing. I think there's something in Hollywood recently where there's a lot of nostalgia bait stuff.
Yeah.
But then you watch the movie and you actually don't need to have watched the original. And I think there's a pro-con to that. I think you have that thing now where people, like I think happened here, where people watch the movie and it's like, oh, I was told this was going to be nostalgia bait.
Yeah.
Whereas the movie I watched 50 years ago, it's like, well, whoever was marketing this knew that's what you wanted to see.
Yeah.
It's a shame they didn't want to show you how great this movie actually was. Isn't it?
Yeah. But even then, even the nostalgia bait, I don't think it's doing well at all in the box office from what I've read. So it didn't work. Maybe it did. Last I saw, it was doing really bad in the box office. But anyways,
Okay.
Do you want to do reviews first?
Before that, actually, I kind of want to talk about in the hypothetical. And I know this is so not going to happen, but if you were to, like, have to choose something to, like, nominate for this movie.
Oh,
I'm not
Oscars?
even talking Oscars level, but, like, for, like, fan awards or whatever.
Oh, okay.
who would you say you would nominate for like best actress, best actor?
Definitely the main character is best actor, for sure. I don't know about a best actress. I guess the love interest. There's not near as many choices.
Sure.
There's
I guess
the
there
love
are
interest
two.
and the mom. And the mom's barely in it. So I guess the actress. I would say more like actor, supporting actor. I would do Ben Wong and what's the guy's name? What's the bully's name? I would nominate
I
him.
actually
for
don't even
supporting.
know the bully's name. Let me find his name.
Or I don't know him or the dad. For
Ooh,
supporting.
actually, I'd probably do the dad.
Yeah.
The dad
Me
is
too.
Joshua Jackson.
Yeah.
That's the actor and he plays Victor
Mm-hmm.
Libani. Libani.
Love that for him.
Yeah, he did really great that movie.
Yeah. I would actually probably nominate him.
Yeah,
So.
some great performances. If you had to nominate a craft category, what would you do?
Ooh. Maybe like if you have like choreography, if that's a category, I would do
Yeah,
that.
that or stunts.
Yeah.
Stunts would
I don't know what that would fit under.
I think I would do editing.
Yeah, I was thinking editing too, because I do think it was well edited. So, yeah, I agree.
Some very fun stuff here for sure.
Yeah.
So
Or maybe like favorite guest appearance or something for Han,
right,
if he would be
right,
counted
right.
as a guest. I don't know.
That's right. So
That'd be
okay,
fun.
so you're gonna pull up the reviews.
Yeah.
So I think you said it got an A- cinema score.
yes, A- cinema score, which is good.
Yes.
So go see this movie. I hope that like
I
gets
definitely
people to go
think
see it a little
inherently the audience is gonna like this a lot more than critics, because I can't even fathom why
Yeah.
critics don't like it.
bit. Yeah.
So, I'm gonna say
What do you think critics is now?
I feel like it's gonna be a little better. It was around. I'm gonna say like I'm gonna be a little hopeful and say it got to like 60 or 59.
57. It's close.
It's
Not
still-
quite to the
That's
fresh
insane.
mark, but it's close. What about audience? They did like it better. I'll give you that.
Audience, I'm gonna say. 82?
88.
Oh, okay. I
Right?
was hoping it was higher than
Yeah.
that. I was saving my heart.
You were like, I gotta be real. But they were like, no, no, no.
Okay. Okay. I like it. So,
Okay, what about IMDb?
on IMDb, unfortunately, that is what I'm looking at, and I saw it got a 6.6.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, looking at that in comparison to the other movies, that's insane. The Last Karate Kid got an A.
The remake?
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
Mhm. So this one got
Oh
an A
my
minus.
God.
So did Karate Kid 2. The first one didn't get a score. That's insane.
Right, because cinema score wasn't a thing for the first one, I don't
Yes.
think.
Three got a B minus, and then the one that we didn't watch got a B plus. The next Karate Kid.
Okay.
On IMDb, it has the second highest score. The original was 7.3. This one is 6.6.
Mm-hmm.
The lowest is the next Karate Kid with a 4.6. On Rotten Tomato critic score, obviously the first one is the most with 89. This one, then the remake was 67, and then this one is 57. So it's the third highest,
Mm-hmm.
which is blasphemous.
Hmm.
And then with audience score, the highest. Interesting. This is the highest audience score.
Okay.
The original one had an 83.
I'll take it.
And then it was a 67 for the remake. The lowest was 24% for the next Karate Kid. R.I.P. But that's interesting. And I knew audiences were gonna like this a lot better because, like I said, I can't point to a single thing and be like, I can see why people call this bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like it. Like I can understand that for some of the movies that I like, that I really enjoy, that audiences or critics don't. But I can't point a finger to anything and be like, this is what needed to change. This is a great movie.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
So, looking at
Box office?
The box office so far. So I believe that this is just for Friday.
Yeah, it should have Thursday and Friday by now.
So Thursday and Friday, it looks like it opened with 7.5 million domestic,
Mm-hmm.
13.5 million international.
Okay.
So right now it's looking at 21 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how that grows for the whole weekend. I feel like that international number is pretty strong. And I feel like...
Yeah, and I hope that the cinema score gives it a little bit of legs, a little bit of love.
And I think in
So-
China especially, we're going to see some great reception
Hopefully.
there.
Oh.
I think it's very intentional. There are parts of this movie that take place in China, and you know the characters speak Chinese, and clearly like they bring some of that culture with them. They talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a great line they had was like, "There's this Chinese tradition where you open all the doors and windows and sweep the grief out of your house so that the
Yeah.
living can keep living."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wouldn't it be so great if that's how easy it was? And I was like, man, that's so true.
I love that line. I love it. The budget, it looks like it was about 45 million.
Okay.
So it probably needs to make, I don't know, 120-ish?
Let me do that.
Ish? Maybe?
45.
What's 45 times 2.5? 2.5 or whatever.
So
That's
you're
how we
looking
do
at
it. Some people do
112.
112. Okay.
But I also feel like the budgeting, like the marketing budget, was not crazy here.
I don't think
So
so,
I feel
either.
like
Yeah.
It's
Some people like to
around the
do like
2.5
a.
moment is going to be
Yeah.
very much in the clear.
Yeah.
So so we're looking at 112 million to get to that
Yeah.
potential break-even point.
What have the other movies done?
So
I want to compare before I guess how
the
much.
highest
I think this
grossing
will
was the remake, which made 350 million.
make. Mhm.
The original made 90 million, so it didn't cross the century mark.
Okay.
The second one made 115 million.
Third one?
38 million.
Okay.
And then the next Karate Kid made 15.
Mhm. Dang. That's crazy.
This franchise definitely fell off for a second, and then, yeah,
I guess got revived.
I hold on. Let me look at the international.
I mean, Cobra Kai definitely helped. I remember people talking
So
about
with
that forever.
international, on that remake,
Uh-huh.
it is almost a 50-50 split on international and domestic. Both made about
Wow.
175 million.
It's
So-
definitely stronger here,
And
though.
I think China will continue to be, because that movie takes place in China. It makes sense why China would be more pushing on that element.
This one, Legends?
The remake, because that took place in China.
Nope. Okinawa, Japan. I
Not
thought.
the second one, the remake.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
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 That was
Okay.
a-
My bad.
that's
My
on me.
bad.
Um,
I was like, which one are we talking about? I don't know what's happening. I think I'm on it now. I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so they're like people seeing their own culture. I
Yeah.
think especially in the Chinese,
Yeah.
movie market, I think that's something that they value.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll see elements of that here. I don't think as strongly. I don't think we're gonna get to 351 if I'm being honest. But fortunately, I don't think we need to.
No.
I think if we're looking even at like 150 to like 160, I think we're solid.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is
Is that your guess?
doable. Yeah. I want it to be the Karate Kid 2.
Yeah. The how much?
And
did
actually,
that-
Karate Kid 2 is at 115. So if
Yeah.
it beats the Karate Kid 2, it makes its budget back.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
gonna
definitely
say
think it will.
150. Actually, I'm gonna lock that one in.
Okay. I'm gonna be a little more pessimistic. I'm gonna say 130.
Okay. I think that's valid.
But yeah, I would love it to like blow
And
out of the water.
And its cinema score suggests it'll have legs.
Yeah.
So, and I think
So
it's
we'll
not
see.
a weak opening.
And I mean, the audience score was good.
Let me look at the
So,
opening weekends actually. So
We'll see about word of mouth.
the
I
last
haven't
one-
seen anything on
the
Twitter
last
yet.
one
but-
opened with 55 million.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we'll see.
Probably about half of that.
I mean, maybe. To be fair, oh yeah, because that's domestic, so it won't be that. But
So 150 might be pretty good.
I hope so.
actually.
I really
Yeah.
hope this movie does well. I think
Mhm.
everyone in this cast
Mhm.
deserves to have this movie do well.
Yeah.
And behind the scenes too. Like
Yeah.
people were cooking on this. I'm very
Mhm.
surprised.
They had
to
a
hear.
vision, and I liked the vision.
I
So
loved the vision here. So
very
I
excited.
really hope we see some dividends on this.
Mm-hmm. We shall see. We'll keep
Yeah.
track. We'll bring it up later if we were right.
Absolutely. Is there anything else we needed to talk about this movie or the Karate Kid franchise in general?
I don't think so. We're right at our time, so I think we've said everything we need to say. So go watch it. It was
Yes,
good.
Please watch it. I truly can't recommend this enough. It is.
Yeah.
I did not think this movie was going to break my top 10. It broke into my top 5. So
Oh, there you go. There you go.
so this movie
Probably would for mine too.
This movie definitely
Mhm.
surprised me in
Yeah.
all of the best ways. So please go see Karate Kid Legends. It is in theaters right now. So but thank you guys so much for listening. Let us know what you think of the movie if you've had time to see it. What's your favorite Karate Kid movie?
Yeah.
Would love to hear that below as well.
Mhm.
And that being said, we will see you guys next time. I'm Luke.
And I'm Alicia.
And you guys take care.
Bye.